The following is a presentation of the Nerd Complex Podcast Network.
We would like to welcome you to Audio Suplex Live, brought to you by the Nerd Complex Podcast Network.
Goodness gracious. I promised myself I wasn't going to make that joke. I promised I wasn't going to do it, and then I had to.
You literally lasted 3 seconds.
That's across many aspects of my life.
That's
that actually
call
checks
you
out.
3 Second Travis.
Yep, no, there it is. That's the 3-pump chump champ.
That's a very small title, Bill.
Sorry, man.
They're smaller than you think. Smaller than average.
I want to point something out real quick. I think we are now getting to the point, if you've ever been in the studio with us and you've seen the show, you know that Corey and I like to talk up to the actual second that we start broadcasting live, and then we have to shut up for like 20 seconds while the intro's going on. And it's just super funny to me that we have literally narrowed it down to like the exact like millisecond that we can talk to. And then, because we just love talking. We love talking to you guys so much that we want to talk before the show, hold for 20 seconds, do the intro, and then just continue talking.
Exactly. We've already talked about a bunch of points on the card.
Yeah, we've already done
our... We're going to have to talk about all that shit all over again.
All right, thanks guys for listening. This has been Audio.
Yeah, we already talked about it. We weren't recording then.
Yeah, you weren't listening, but we already went over the entire card with each other. So there we go.
Good.
Just kidding, guys.
Well, we didn't go over the whole card.
Yeah. So, Corey, what are we here to do today?
We're talking about that fiery itch that you got.
From
the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view.
Goodness gracious.
Might want to have those looked at.
Yeah. So
I try not to look at them as much as possible.
How far have we come, guys? We have come from the point of when they announced the show was going to be called Great Balls of Fire to we're here. It's here. It's literally happening. Great Balls of Fire are upon us.
Now, which one is this? Was this originally
Bad Blood?
Bad
I think
Blood,
this is what this is.
Yeah,
replacing.
I think that's
because I just had this conversation with someone the other day. I'm like, this used to be called something else, but I can't remember which one they switched it out with.
Well, I heard if your great balls are on fire, you might want to get your blood checked because you might actually have bad blood. So, but
it's been a couple years since they've had a Bad Blood pay-per-view, though, hasn't it been? I can't remember the last one. It couldn't have been any recent years.
I would look it up, but I really don't care to.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I'm just wondering, did they rename Bad Blood, or did they just change their mind about bringing back an old pay-per-view and just decided to go with a brand new one?
You know, I don't know. Because I know tentatively it was originally supposed to be just called Bad Blood.
Because it's not like Bad Blood had a theme.
The last Bad Blood pay-per-view was in 2004.
Yeah.
My heavens.
And the very first one they spelled it Bad, B-A-D-D. And all the other ones it's just B-A-D.
Lest we forget.
Just so you know.
So, as always, as we like to do here on Sundays at 1 o'clock on the day of a pay-per-view, we are here to break down the entire card. We have myself, Dr. Travis.
Heel
Corey across the table from us. And as always, we got to get you some theme music, buddy.
Yeah, I know. We'll figure it out. We'll get it there.
The pre-show
stopper.
Funny story. I was actually up on my phone on GarageBand the other night trying to recreate the Shawn Michaels theme so that we wouldn't get sued.
Oh.
So we could just play that for you. But I really suck at GarageBand, so
it's all right.
If you're good at GarageBand, you want to hook us up with that.
Yeah. If you want to make a generic sounding Shawn Michaels-esque,
we'll use it on the show and we'll credit you one time.
Yeah.
For making it.
Maybe
one time
if you're lucky.
You get a plug somewhere.
So, yeah, we are here to break down Great Balls of Fire. But before we get into that, it's a little unorthodox for one of our preview special shows. There was a couple things that happened in the news this weekend that we want to kind of go over. So before we get into that, Joe, do you want to cue us up for some news?
It's the news.
It's the news. It's the news. It's the news.
I like that better.
You know what?
That was
unintentional. That was intentional. We said it was going to be unorthodox news, and we have an unorthodox news drop for it. So
it only makes perfect sense.
This is why he's the best in the biz, everybody. Joe Kuchar, everybody. So a couple things I want to talk to you guys about before we jump into the card for Great Balls of Fire. One, the United States Championship changing hands on a house show at Madison Square Garden.
Insane in the membrane.
Andrew James Styles, AJ Styles to some, is now your WWE United States Champion on a house show.
Interesting call. Just one because, I mean, I get it. MSG is historical, so they kind of like to throw those in there for those guys. just the title change, taking the title off Owens this soon, just kind of seems weird.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just really wanted to reward AJ Styles for the awesome year he's been having, and
I mean,
a way to get buzz around that is to do it at a house show. Samoa Joe won the belt at a house show from Finn Balor. Is that right, or was it the other way around? I'm pretty sure Joe beat
Balor
at a house show, which was the first time he won the belt, if I'm not mistaken.
Clearly, AJ has been the MVP of SmackDown up until this point. So
he won Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah, so I mean, and
Thus
rightfully so.
Yeah. My big thing is, and I read this morning. I can't actually cite it right now because I don't feel like it. But I read this morning
someone else
that
said this.
Yeah. Somebody had originally said this, but it was reported that the move wasn't necessarily because there's something going on with Kevin Owens. It's not because they want to put the belt on AJ for whatever reason, but it's actually because now that they don't do televised shows out of Madison Square Garden because of the amount of fees that they charge to run and the cost of running shows out of there, attendance at Madison Square Garden shows has been catastrophically low for Madison Square Garden shows. So they basically were looking for something to kind of remind the Madison Square Garden crowd, like, hey, you want to make sure you're here for these shows because these are going to be...
We still do cool stuff.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Yeah. So,
and hey, I'm all for that because I think going to the house shows is kind of like... I would hesitate to say I don't like going to house shows, but it's kind of like when there's a title match, it's like, okay, well, the title's not going to change hands.
Yeah.
So, I mean, doing this every now and then.
Yeah, there's one thing I remember because I've only recently gone to televised episodes, but I was always going to house shows, and every time they'd advertise a big title match, I'm like, well, I know who's going to win that match.
Well, and in Toledo, it was hard because up until they built the Huntington Center, all you were getting in Toledo were the live shows. You never got
small.
You weren't getting SmackDowns, at the old Toledo Sports Arena and all.
Although it would be smart to run in there, they'd sell out the house as opposed to having to section off.
They tried Monday Night Raw once, and they're just like, nope.
But that was also the debut of the Usos on the Monday Night Raw. So.
That's what I'd like to always tell people. Two big things happened that day. That's
the Uso
when
thing. The Uso. Nope.
That's also, if you remember, the first time Bautista quit too.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Dang, taking us way back.
Well, then I quit.
Yep. And then we had the Usos and Tamina debut.
Ugh. So another little bit of news from this weekend that we kind of wanted to cover. Austin Aries officially released from his WWE contract.
Adios, Joe Schmo.
Yeah, I know you're not a big Austin Aries guy.
Peace out, Austin. Well, if he couldn't beat Neville, then what's the point? He
It's
lost
so
to him so often.
That hurts me too because me and Travis both predicted he was going to win that match.
Yeah, no, I didn't see him coming out of the wrong end of that feud, just knowing like what he has done in his career to this point. Like he's just, he's Austin freaking Aries. Like he's a former ROH champion. He's somebody that when he came into NXT and came into WWE in general, he should have been just set up for success. And I think, and it's been reported that a lot of why he was for lack of a better term, malcontent backstage was because of his attitude being pigeonholed into like the cruiserweight division. And
tell him to gain some weight.
I mean, look at Finn Balor though. Finn Balor doesn't need, to weigh anything more.
Have you seen his stomach?
He has a stomach. I just assumed that it was solid marble because that's what it looks like. Holy hell!
I don't think the WWE really knew what to do with Austin Aries.
I think they did because they had a really good thing going.
But I think they should have left him in
NXT
NXT for a little bit longer, just because I think he would have thrived more there, being the kind of the leader in that group.
Yeah,
which I get
kind of in like the Bobby Roode situation.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
like, okay, you have a Bobby Roode as your top heel guy down there, and then you could have had Austin Aries as your top face. And
then what do you do with all the other guys? Because there's
that's
so
always,
many guys.
But
down
that's
there.
always been the argument with NXT. It's like, well, what do you do? That's so log jammed.
If they don't need to be there, I would say bring them up.
NXT.
But what's the point of being just a part of the show as opposed to, you could actually help the show,
I can see where a lot of guys would want to stay on NXT because then they are now the big fish in a smaller pond down there. But like you take a guy like a Tyler Breeze from down there who is doing fantastic now as part of Breezango, but he was like the big fish in the smaller pond down there, and you bring him up to the main roster, and for the longest time he was kind of lost in obscurity. Like he didn't really. So I could understand why like an Austin Aries or some of your Roderick Strongs or something like that would probably want to stay on NXT.
I mean, it's always changing in NXT too, because a lot of times they'll do the call ups and deplete the roster, and you're like, I don't know, the roster's kind of depleted. And then they get all these new guys in, and then there's too many contenders. There's so many guys right now that could be in the world title picture.
The biggest problem with the
there's
guys
no
they
room.
call up from NXT is they bring them up and then they give up on them too soon.
Yeah.
They never really give them. They're like, okay,
Maybe if they were better.
2-3 weeks. Well, then if you don't
They
think
didn't
they're
do
ready,
that.
send them back
Joe's
down.
working. Seth Rollins is working.
It's really hit or miss, and sometimes they end up in a holding pattern until they find something to do with them.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Neville took a while, but
Yeah.
he's doing the best work of his career.
Yeah.
Turning Neville
He's a
heel
beast.
in this cruiserweight division was the best thing that ever happened to Neville.
Yeah. But anyway, so Austin Aries officially done with WWE. He is obviously going to have like the non-compete clause in his contract. Interested
For
to
how
see
long
where,
do you know?
I believe it's 90 days.
Oh, that's not bad.
So it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up.
New Japan.
I would put my money on ROH just because
Yeah,
of the
'cause
connection that he has with the ROH crowd already.
The one story I did read, they said rumor has it that he's waiting and he's going to go back to ROH and do independent bookings, but they said nothing was set in stone yet.
Right. So, all right. Well, that kind of wraps up all the little tidbits I wanted to talk about today before we get into the GBOF.
Last night was Uprising 11. That was super fun.
Yes. We do got to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, ladder match.
Fantastic show from top to bottom.
Blew me away.
Yeah. Really
Very
good. It started with
impressed.
a really good battle royal. Saw Louis Perez make his way into the ladder match at the end of the night.
Thought he might win it at that point.
Big Mike Elgin going up against Dre Jacobs.
That was-
Fantastic match.
And we'll have footage of that eventually.
Yeah.
Exciting. Shout out a fan called and said, "Hey, what's up to us?" Josh Murphy. So shout out to you if
Hey,
you're watching.
all right, what's up,
Thanks
Josh?
for saying hello.
Yeah, that's what we like. Like, I like that we can go to like NOW shows now and be like, "Hey guys, I'm glad you appreciate the show."
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Last night was kind of hectic, so I didn't get a chance to talk to him very much. So I apologize. But in the future, once we got everything figured out, we'll actually have a table. You can come up and talk to us, and we'll have T-shirts if you want.
Surprised anybody recognized you without your sunglasses on at the show.
I did wear them for a short time. I was told that if I didn't put on my sunglasses, I wasn't allowed to re-enter the building. So
Well, it's your gimmick, man. That's your thing. He actually, it's not even a gimmick. He wears them 24/7 outside of here.
That's
like,
not true.
Yeah.
I wear them a lot.
Yeah, he does wear sunglasses a lot. The beanies actually, it's a combo.
The beanie, you won't see me without this gray beanie on my head.
There was
It's
a
been
period
several
of time.
years.
There was a time where I saw a picture of you without the beanie on. I think it was for Matt's wedding pictures.
Oh yeah,
I saw a picture with you without the beanie, and your hair is like super long. People don't know this. Corey's hair is super long.
it is pretty long.
So
It's
like,
down past my
yeah, when
shoulders now.
I saw it without the beanie, I saw how long his hair had gotten, and I was like, dude, what the hell? Like,
It's getting a little bit much now. I think I'm going to cut it all off.
yeah, well, nobody would ever know.
I know. I could shave it down and start over. I haven't cut my hair in over 2 years. So 2 years, no haircuts. It's a lot
Unreal.
cheaper. I've been saving like $15 a month.
Meanwhile, I'm going like the opposite. I'm going like longer this way.
I decided, I was like, do I want Netflix or do I want a haircut?
Decisions.
You could just throw it up in your beanie and nobody knows. You just
All right.
spend a little bit more on shampoo.
Hey, I'm just saying, Joe gives a pretty mean haircut.
I have
It's a
been on
little
the
too short for me, Joe.
All right, so you guys ready to get into this?
I guess we might as well jump into the reason why we're
Yeah.
here.
As we say, hashtag best show, hashtag worst name.
I don't know what you're talking
This is a fantastic card from
Yeah,
top to
you're
bottom.
right. The
It's
card is
definitely a
really-
solid card.
And that's weird because I feel like the big four lately haven't been too amazing, but these one-off ones, this Backlash was kind of surprising. I don't know.
Yeah, this is a good card from top to bottom.
I think this
though.
is probably one of the better cards of the year so far.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't fudge it up.
So let's jump right into it. The first match we have, the pre-show match, is going to see
Rightfully
Neville
in the pre-show.
They got to
I'm
get
just
these
kidding.
cruisers on the main show at some point.
I mean,
man.
at this point, you
Get rid of the
can't-
purple ropes.
Well, let's Neville versus Akira Tozawa, representing Titus Worldwide.
Ooh. It's a pre-show match. Now, I've heard the argument, that's a lock that the champion's going to retain in the pre-show. But traditionally, I mean, tag team title matches have happened in the pre-show specifically before the brand split. And the titles changed several times on the pre-show, tag titles at least. And I feel like the Cruiserweight titles changed hands on a pre-show before. Because it's only ever been on the pre-show, am I right?
I'm sure it has in some capacity, but
I don't think that rules it out.
I don't think I truthfully don't. And listen, you're not going to find a bigger Akira Tozawa fan.
I don't even really like him, but I think he might have a chance to win this.
If Austin Aries didn't have a chance,
That's what makes this so crazy.
No,
Can you imagine what this would do for Titus brand?
It would be fantastic.
And that's why I could see them
Can
making.
you see?
That's why I can see them making the title
Even Titus
change
cheats and helps Akira Tozawa win, and he's like, I'm the best
by
manager.
Travis.
Corey, you can't look
Nefarious
at me.
means, bro. Hey, you know that I fantasy book to the moon and back.
Listen here, Shades. You can't look at me dead in the eyes. First and foremost, you can't do
can't.
it anyway. But secondly, you can't look at me dead in the eyes and tell me with your heart of hearts that you truly believe that they're going to build up Neville as this unstoppable heel and just literal
If he loses by
destroyer
being cheated against,
through
he's
like,
never faced anyone that would cheat to win against him. He's always fought against babyfaces.
and I get that. I don't think that this is the time. I think
Maybe
that,
they'll shove it to Austin Aries because he didn't want to work for him. He's like, oh, okay, well, we'll just give the belt to the next guy that fights Neville.
yeah,
And then they do the suck it sign.
to Austin Aries.
Yeah.
They both do.
Yeah.
At the same time, they both like
Everybody does it.
back to ROH.
I'll
you
help.
Nerd. No, I'm just kidding.
He's a good wrestler. I know.
So are you genuinely going to listen? I love
There's got to be some twists and turns.
the fact that they've aligned Akira Tozawa and Apollo Crews with Titus O'Neil.
It makes Apollo. Gives Apollo something to do. It makes Titus interesting again since being a part of PTP.
It's one of the best angles going right now on Raw. I love the Titus worldwide shtick. It's entertaining. It's everything wrestling should be. It's
Here's
fun,
my
it's
other
entertaining.
argument, not to spoil any of my other picks. There's not going to be 0 title changes on this pay-per-view, and this is the only one that I can feasibly see happening.
And I could see one more, but that depends on where they're going with it.
You're nuts. I'm putting my pick in. Akira Tozawa.
Oh no!
See, we're not doing our normal. We're not doing our picks for outside of this.
This is
so I can be a little bit more crazy because I'm not losing much.
Not to mention that we've had a really bad track record of actually punishing those who have the worst in picks.
So who cares?
So there's no repercussions.
The
I was
loser
gonna say,
has-
I'm sure me and Ajax are both supposed to do the Steiner
Yeah. Well,
promo, and
we
we haven't.
You got to
done it
eat a
yet.
whole bowl of pudding if you lose this month.
no,
Tapioca.
not tapioca.
I hate tapioca pudding.
Yeah. Well, Corey and I are the thing is we're like at an ends on what the punishment should be. He thinks it needs to be something different every time. I think the Steiner thing should just be the default setting for punishment. Like if you lose the picks, you just have to do the Steiner promo.
The fans don't want to see the Steiner promo.
Well,
every month.
let's leave it up to the fans. If you guys are listening to this, get at us on Twitter, get at us on Facebook, get at us on the YouTube comments below, and let us know, what do you think the punishment should be for getting the worst in picks?
Recommend nothing crazy. Like we
Yeah,
don't
we're
want to
not-
hurt each other.
Yeah. Well, we do, but not on the show.
Nothing sexual, please.
That's weird.
I don't know.
Why do you got to?
I think since he's been the cruiserweight champion, I don't think I've picked Neville to win yet. I don't know. I don't remember.
So you're gonna change your tune? Or you're
That-
gonna go with Kokiro Tozawa?
That being said, I'm gonna pick Neville, but watch, he's gonna blow it tonight, and Tozawa's gonna win. I'm gonna pick Neville, but I'm gonna say with the caveat that I would not be surprised if Tozawa wins, just because it would go with the whole Titus brand
is
and
the best brand.
they're going to build up somebody to be the underdog babyface that is going to end up taking the belt off of Neville, and is going to be the feel-good story that nobody is ever going to see because nobody watches 205 Live.
You are
A fool.
giving way too much credit to the writing team.
I always do.
That is
That's
true.
my-
also.
that's my
I
shtick.
mean, just by your definition right there, why didn't Austin Aries win the belt?
Maybe because he
Why didn't Jack Gallagher
is
win the belt?
maybe because he was a backstage malcontent and they didn't think that he was ready for it at the time, and maybe that was part of the kind of. I don't know.
who
I
is
can't
ready?
speculate on that.
You know who is ready? Akira Tozawa.
You know who my pick is to win the Cruiserweight Championship off of Neville? It's either going to be one of two guys.
Tony Nese.
Nope. It is either going to
Tony
be
Nese's
Cedric
abs.
Alexander
No.
or it is going to be Mustafa Ali.
No.
Those are the two pluckiest underdog baby faces they have in the Cruiserweight division.
Akira
And
Tozawa, he's
he's
a
over.
Japanese athlete. He's very skilled. I'm a fan of Akira Tozawa.
Go on.
He's going to win, and he's going to hold that belt forever. He's going to be the new Neville.
No.
Okay, that's a little over
And I love Akira Tozawa, but it's not happening.
Okay, we'll see. That's the first match tonight, so we'll know right away how good or bad you are at picking.
I'm pretty even.
All right, what's next?
So the first match of the main card, and the match that I think has probably, looking up and down, probably the worst build out of any of these feuds.
Oh, yeah.
Seth Rollins
Pointless.
versus Bray Wyatt.
weird to think that now, like, this match doesn't really excite anybody.
And on paper,
Wyatt was world champion this year.
So was Seth Rollins. They're both former world champions. Not this year, but I mean, both former world champions. And you just kind of look at it like, eh.
I love Seth Rollins. He is a fantastic in-ring performer. I still think he's kind of suffered from came back as a heel and is still I still don't know how I feel about him as this babyface return.
It doesn't feel right.
It just doesn't feel.
He should have been face right off the get-go.
What I don't know if I don't like how he's kind of like they're kind of building him like he's an underdog type thing. Like I don't really understand that. Like, look, he's Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think that's his real middle name.
I don't think so either. But I just don't. He kind of like when he talks, he's they're kind of like trying to play him up as an underdog, and it's just like
he's saying
why?
things that you're like, okay, but the fans are just not getting into necessarily.
The fans are gonna like him regardless. I mean, they kind of they don't love him or hate him. I think they're at this point.
This is a tough one. I think this may be one of the toughest matches to call.
I'm going to hate saying this because I'm going to throw my pick in right now.
Do it.
Bray Wyatt's eating this loss.
Yeah.
He's
per usual.
Oh my God.
And he's on the cover. Seth Rollins is on the cover of WWE 2K18 this year. So you're going to want to build him strong and put him into a pretty decent storyline that's going to conclude around SummerSlam when the release of the game is.
It just sucks that
he's going to have to be put over for that.
They just seem to have lost all faith in Bray Wyatt.
It's hard to be a Bray Wyatt fan, guys.
Maybe another loss will finally make Wyatt snap, and he'll be more crazy in some way, and his reasoning for that is these losses, and then
I think
Bo Dallas can join him.
These little vignettes of him doing the on the set of Breaking Bad out in the desert haven't really been doing it for me, man.
That was actually in Phoenix, Arizona, not Albuquerque, New Mexico. I know that you've never been to those places, so you don't know the difference.
I'm not world traveled like you are. I know you are.
But they do look different.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you've been there, the culture's different. I don't know that much.
Does anybody have any feelings on this match besides what we've already commiserated over?
Just not really. It's just like I agree with you. It's sad because I want Bray Wyatt to, be over and be successful, but they just WWE has seemed to lost all faith in Bray Wyatt.
It's because it's garbage. All right, we all say Steph.
Yeah.
That's easy enough.
Yeah.
What's next? We got Enzo Amore against Casshole.
That promo that Enzo cut at the beginning of Raw this past week was
he's good on the mic.
He's either on
his passion, like when he was crying when they first started doing the split.
Yeah,
it's like holy shit, man.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of valid points that he brought up in the promo. He called him a 7-foot catchphrase.
Yeah, that I wrote.
Yeah, that I wrote. Like
Jesus,
he really brought the fire. From a verbal standpoint, this has been a really good build. Like the turn was there, the fake out with them kind of getting back together, and then Cass.
It didn't go the way. Because like a month ago, I said that Cass was going to be the good guy.
I don't even think they knew a month ago where it was going to go.
It was going to be the bad guy, but this makes more sense because Enzo is really good on the mic, and having a face that can do that.
It makes sense, but it doesn't at the same time, and I'll explain why. Just because it doesn't make sense because your tag team division
is garbage on
Raw.
Now.
It's very, very thin.
They just broke up 2 teams.
Yeah, they broke up 2 teams. And even on SmackDown Live, it's thin too, and they're about to break up a team over there, and it's just, and they're about to lose 2 over on SmackDown also. But
2 tag teams?
Yeah, the Colognes asked for their release supposedly, and then it's looking like the Hype Bros are breaking up.
Maybe they're just gonna tease a breakup, but they don't.
Maybe, but yeah, the tag team division on Raw is very thin, and 2, what do you do with Enzo? Cass is gonna Cass is going to be fine on his own. I
think Enzo's going to be more of the hype guy. He's going to come out and work the crowd like a New Day, or like he did already with Enzo and Cass.
I'm putting money down. I'm putting money down right now on this. Enzo Amore is going to be your host of WrestleMania next year.
I believe it.
How much he weigh?
What's the pay-per-view? Is there a pay-per-view?
Does he qualify for a cruiserweight?
Yeah, no. Oh,
he's 205.
He might even actually be under the weight limit.
He could be the one that beats Neville. They could put him in the cruiserweight division.
God, no. God, no. Please,
you have to fight Akira Tozawa because that'll be the champ.
That's the only thing that people always keep throwing this idea out there that now that Enzo and Cass, and even before they split up, that, oh my God, throw Enzo Amore in the Cruiserweight division. You'll get people to watch it. And like, yeah, you might get some extra eyes on it, but
maybe he can get the crowd to pop.
The cornerstone of the Cruiserweight division, besides Alicia Fox, the other cornerstone.
There's 4 corners.
There's 4 corners. The 2 cornerstones, though, are Alicia Fox and unbridled, unmatched in-ring acumen and athleticism. You look at guys like, Mustafa Ali, Tony Nese, Drew Gulak.
Tony Nese has been on the most televised
Yes, he
matches of the year.
Yes, he has.
Number 1, most televised.
But you can't tell me this wouldn't be something typical of WWE to do.
It would be very WWE to do it, but you put in Enzo Amore, and I like Enzo Amore. I think he's fantastic on the mic. I think he is, from a marketing and a promotional standpoint, one of the best guys they have on payroll, hands down. But you put him in the ring with like a Mustafa Ali or a Drew Gulak or even a Neville, he was going to get exposed. He's going to get exposed
and he is,
in a big way.
But it's like, at the same time, it's like, okay, what do you do with him? Because I told you guys
you fire Kurt Angle and make him the GM for all.
I mean, I told you guys a couple months back that I thought that they should convince him somehow to just stop wrestling and be Cass's manager.
Yeah.
Just because, hey, he's perfect on the mic, and
but maybe he wants to wrestle,
and I'm sure he does. I'm sure he doesn't want to just be a manager. But I always thought, like, if you're going to have those two together, he was better suited as Cass's manager, to where Cass is not a very strong promo guy. All of a sudden, he's gotten better in the last 2 weeks now that he's a heel, but
it's easy to be mean.
I think that's also an indication of the program that he's in. It's easy for him to work with Enzo because he knows him so well.
Yeah.
Once you put him in programs with like Finn Balor, or that's not going to happen. You put him in programs with somebody a little higher up on the card or somebody that he's maybe not so familiar with. I don't think it's going to transition so smoothly.
I don't think.
Who knows? The Drifter's doing great.
Yeah,
he's doing good
in a program with
surprisingly
Finn Balor. Okay,
you guys think that might be on the card tonight?
No.
Drifter comes out to do a song. Finn Balor comes out and beats him real quick.
That's more likely, but
I can see it thrown in right before the main event or something.
Yeah,
because that's a way to use them both.
Ladies and gentlemen,
how is Finn Balor not going to be on the freaking card?
Elias Sampson. I don't know.
Who wants to follow?
Who wants to? He comes out and starts playing Great Balls of Fire. Literally just starts playing Great Balls of Fire.
Ooh, maybe he does like a rendition.
Do 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 do.
Goodness gracious.
Walk with the Rambler.
So this is kind of a tough one to pick because I feel like you have 2 different ways this can go. I think Enzo Amore's got the momentum going into this. He's the plucky underdog, and that's obviously
Big Cass is winning.
You're calling it now?
Oh yeah. Big Cass is gonna whoop him.
I'm actually gonna agree with you.
You don't want to hinder his momentum to the top of the card.
Enzo's gonna be over in spite of what happens.
Yeah, it'll actually more sympathy for him if he gets destroyed, and the fans will be like, "Oh my God!"
And it gets
sorry.
nothing but pure, and it's gonna be brutal.
Balls of fire raining down.
It's
gonna be Cass.
I agree, and I think it's gonna be an absolute beatdown.
Maybe follow me for a minute. And just first, I want to say that
where are we going?
128.
I am gonna pick Big Cass to win because I think they want to start pushing him as a big heel,
big dog in the yard.
Oh.
I think, and I'm gonna go with my off the wall prediction on why Cass will win by Travis.
Nefarious means
Corey Graves comes out and helps him and starts managing him. Here's the reason why I think this.
I don't see Graves pulling double duty on commentary.
It would have to be a big
But here's the reason why I think this. They put him in that segment for a reason.
He's the one that called out Big Cass.
But see, that's where the classic, there's the swerve.
Yeah, that's not a swerve though. How are they going to explain that he's like, I wanted you to know.
I'm just saying.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
I like the idea, but I don't see it.
Because it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. One,
I think
it makes the storyline even more interesting. 2, now Cass has that mouthpiece.
That's true.
No, Cass signs up with Titus Worldwide.
I think the Corey Graves thing is he just gets inside information.
I'm just saying
he's got stuff on Kurt Angle too. So I feel like they can use him for multiple angles.
I understand, but they put him in there for a reason. Not only that, but if he just exposed him, and that was it.
The only real reason is they needed someone to call out what really happened.
But then they kept it going the next week after.
I don't know. I guess
I'm just saying. I'm not. Just my off the wall prediction.
The whole
Corey,
I want to shake the hand of the man who did that, and he shook Big Cass's hand.
You remember a couple minutes ago when Corey told me that I gave way too much credit to the writing staff?
Hey, it's my off the wall prediction for the night.
I truthfully do not think that with
because if it really does ever happen, we'll be like, oh, we said that on the show.
You'll have your moment in the sun if it happens. We'll just rename the show Audio Shawnplex Live, and going forward, your picture will be the visage that people see when they tune in.
But a spinning logo. We see the back of his head.
Truthfully think that with storylines like this and the Kurt Angle cell phone thing, they might have an idea of what they're going for, but I truthfully think that they make things up on almost like a minute-to-minute basis with that kind of stuff.
Vince is like, have Corey Graves have a tweet. He's got the Twitter, doesn't he?
Have Kurt stare at his phone like a grandmother texting.
I don't know.
Kurt Angle perpetually just hold on. I got to do this because it pissed me off when I watched this. Who the hell texts like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's an Olympian thing. I don't know.
But yeah, that's my off the wall prediction for the night.
All right.
We spent way too much time talking
So
about
we said all casts?
Yes.
Yeah,
But you said nefariously.
Yes.
You fool.
Allow me. Through nefarious means.
All right. Like he needs the help for the win.
Right. I don't
All right.
see it, dude.
Up next, we have The Miz with The Miz, Taraj, and Maurice against Dean Ambrose.
I shouldn't be as into this feud as I am,
considering it's 8 months now.
But I'm into it. I think the addition.
Is this the grand finale?
Yeah, God, I hope so.
Me too.
I thought.
This has been going on since December.
Yeah, I was hoping the switch to Raw would have mixed that up a bit.
I truthfully hope this is the end of this feud because I would really like to see
other people
where
in the
one
title
half
picture?
of this. I want to see where one half of this feud goes after this, which I'll get into it a little bit when I give my pick. But I'm tired of this feud. But in the same sense, the things leading up to it to this point have kept me interested enough to want to see it resolved and see a finite end to this. So
I'm ready for the end.
That being said, I want to throw my pick out there now.
Oh my God.
Miz is retaining.
Wow,
bold. Very bold. Very bold move,
How?
guys.
How would he retain?
I'm assuming through some sort of like, I don't know, nefarious means.
How? Now book your nefarious booking here.
Yeah, you don't have to. It books itself. He's got freaking Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel at ringside.
Okay.
Maurice distracts the ref. Curtis Axel comes in and does something for the first time in about 6 months, and then,
I have an idea. What if Maurice costs Miz the belt?
Remember a couple minutes ago when he told me that I give the writing staff too much credit?
I'm not giving them any credit. This would be a dumb idea, but they would go for it. Maurice was teased like she's pissed at the Miz, like he messed up that grandfather clock. The celebrations that they've had. What else happened? Like they've been kind of teasing like Maurice is pissed. So I think maybe she slaps him. I'm gonna pick the Miz to win, but that would be an interesting way to do it. Is have her cost him the belt and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like I wasn't thinking." And Ambrose is kind of like, "Haha, like your wife helped me win."
Yeah, but then where do you go from there?
Right, that's the problem.
I could see him.
He doesn't need the belt. The Miz is working with it. He's got the Miz Taraj. You don't want to write them off already. Right. Not that this is that much better than what they were doing.
Well, that also kind of answers your question too about what the tag team division is too. If they keep that going, you could split off Axel and Dallas into a tag team.
See, and that was kind of
they're the social outcasts.
Yeah.
See, that was kind of my hope too, that they'd keep them as a tag team,
pop them up in popularity.
Because right now they're the only things about this Ambrose Miz feud I even like anymore, just because I'm just so bored.
What if Maurice was their manager?
Even with the whole couple diversions, like the sidetracks that we had in this feud too, with like the Ball family coming on to Miz TV and stuff like that. I've still been kind of engaged in it, and I shouldn't be because I'm with you guys. I'm tired of this feud. I'm tired of these two feuding with each other, but. And maybe it's because of the merit of the Miz, I've stayed entertained enough that I'm like, okay, I'll stick with this to see what the end of it is.
So I'm saying Miz. Okay. You're saying Miz.
I'm going to go Miz also.
All right.
Not a lot of movement on this.
Rest in peace to this feud, hopefully. Who do you think is going to be the next contender for the IC belt?
If Miz retains,
Finn Balor.
Yeah. Because didn't they have a promo together
Yes.
a little while ago
Yes.
that
Yeah,
they never
I
really.
agree.
That would be a good
It was
program
on
going
Miz TV
into.
on the pre-show of another pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That was what Balor did on that pay-per-view.
That would be a good program going into SummerSlam. If Ambrose wins, the Drifter, put Elias Sampson right up there because they're already booking him in that position anyway. Might as well pull the trigger and just do it.
The Rambler.
But I will say this: if Miz retains, it's going to be Miz and Balor for the belt at SummerSlam on the main card. If Ambrose wins, you will see that belt defended on the pre-show for SummerSlam against Elias Sampson.
Book it now.
So,
All right. Up next, Alexa Bliss against Sasha Banks
This
for the
one's-
Raw Women's Championship.
Bliss retains. Move on. What's the next match?
Well, let's talk about it a little bit. There's no stipulations for this, right? No crazy steps.
No.
I think Bliss wins with a little help from Nia Jax in some way, shape, or form. And then Nia Jax is like, I want my match now. Or not right now, but at SummerSlam. Like, I'm next. And Alexa Bliss is playing a cowardly heel, running away for the next 4 weeks.
Yep.
So Bliss retains by nefarious means.
Is this gimmick infringement at this point? Because you've stolen my gimmick like 3 times tonight.
Just so you know, you didn't invent the word nefarious, and just
And
because
you didn't invent sunglasses,
you
so
can
suck
wear-
on that.
one of us looks good wearing sunglasses, and the other one of us is Travis.
I look fantastic. Shawn, how do I look?
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So here's my thing. I'm looking at this match and trying to figure out which way they're gonna go next. Because obviously, if are they
I just
do they
told
want
you.
to? Okay, just because you told me doesn't mean you're right.
Oh,
Are they gonna go Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax at
they've been teasing it for 2
SummerSlam?
months.
I know they have, but they could also do the swerve, put it on Sasha, and now you got Sasha versus Bayley at SummerSlam, which you know they got a hard on
These
for.
writers too much credit.
Bailey heel turn.
Ooh, I heard they're
I see.
teasing that.
You know what?
I heard
She
something
needs
about
she needs
that.
a bit of a character wrinkle. Anyway. If Sasha wins, yes, Bailey heel
I
turn.
heard they're supposed to
and
be
then-
booking her to get her first kiss from Corey Graves. She's never been kissed by a boy before.
I'm not sure Mrs. Graves would appreciate
Yeah,
that.
she probably wouldn't. I'm gonna go
Kayfabe,
Alexa
bro.
Bliss also,
Smart
but
move. By nefarious means?
I'm also going Alexa Bliss because I don't want to catch any more crap from Rodney that I never picked his girlfriend to win.
I
don't think they're an item.
Murphy?
Yeah,
I'm pretty
I
sure.
think-
I'm pretty sure they're not either. But
I think Buddy Murphy might have exception to that. I think
I'm gonna pick Alexa Bliss, but I'm not gonna be real surprised if Sasha wins because they're gonna do something
They've
with
been
her and
booking her
Bailey.
so strongly.
much in the same way that I take exception to Buddy Murphy not being on TV.
All right, let's move into our next match. We have Cesaro against Dos Hardy Bros. In a 30-minute Iron Man tag, tornado tag. I don't know if it's tornado
no,
tag.
is
but
it-
Iron Man
Is
match.
it an Iron Man match?
It's
30-minute
a 30-minute
Iron Man.
Iron Man match.
That's
Is it?
brilliant.
I feel like it. Yeah, but I feel like 30 minutes is such a distracting thing for an Iron Man match. Like,
They haven't done an hour Iron Man match in years.
not that I truly think that they're going to do a
Years.
60-minute Iron Man tag team match on this show. But if you're going to have an Iron Man match, I just feel in my brain,
It's been
60
30 minutes the last couple of years.
60 minutes to me is like the
True
Man
Iron
match.
Man
Yeah,
match.
like this is an aluminum man match. Like,
I mean, don't you kind of do 20 to 30 minutes?
especially in a tag where like half the time one of the guys is going to be on the
They
apron.
rarely go 30 minutes in a tag match.
Yeah, but I mean,
But yeah,
May I go first this round?
sure.
Once you're ready?
go nuts.
please do.
Okay, Sheamus and Cesaro wins.
Oh.
Matt Hardy turns on
Oh.
Jeff Hardy tonight. Tomorrow night we see the broken Matt Hardy.
That's a bold gimmick or a bold thing. I feel like Matt would have tweeted about it already today. Yeah,
Not
he did
necessarily.
tease. He said tweeted something like a week ago, like
He's
the end
literally-
is near and the Great War.
He's been teasing this since the second he set foot back into WWE's hands.
Delete.
But now it seems a little more prevalent because
Seriously, they're gonna split another tag on Raw.
I
It'll be
never-
one every week.
one every week.
Lest we forget, fellas, that meanwhile, toiling on main event and biding their time until their spot on the main roster opens up once again, The Revival is waiting in the wings.
Are they on Main Event every week?
Yeah, they've been on Main Event the last couple of weeks.
God, what are
But
you guys doing?
I truthfully think it's because they're in a holding pattern right now. Like what do you have for the Revival at the current moment?
Yeah, you don't want to just squeeze them. They did put them in the big cast segment for a minute. But.
Yeah, so I mean that got them back on TV and got them reintroduced. But get them in the ring, get their ring time in on Main Event a little bit.
I can see it. Hopefully that would free up some room for teams like the Revival.
Yeah,
that would be sweet.
So yes,
DIY.
I think they are going to split the Hardys. I don't know if it's going to be tonight, but I think it might be sooner than later. And I think Sheamus and Cesaro retain.
I agree with both of you about Sheamus and Cesaro winning. I do not think we see the split tonight. I don't think they'll even tease it. They might tease it actually. Fuck. Yeah, no.
I mean, at this point, I just assume.
I think what will happen is maybe the Hardys or no. Sheamus and Cesaro get the first pinfall. The Hardys, they fight for a while. They can't seem to get him down, so they cheat and use like a steel chair or something and get a DQ, so the Hardys get a victory, and then they are able to pin them right away to get to reverse them. I don't know. I think they're going to lose one of the falls by DQ. Sheamus and Cesaro. They're heels. That's a heel thing to do, and especially in an Iron Man match, you can afford, especially if you're up, to get a DQ if you think it's going to help you.
It ends in a tie, and they draw this out to SummerSlam.
Ends in a tie. Maybe Kurt Angle comes out and says,
"Final death, sudden death.
Next fall wins."
And
that's where you get the tease of the breakup or something.
Kurt Angle comes out and says, "We're going to decide this at the Hardys compound." In
they can't call it that.
The future deletion.
Future deletion.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sheamus and Cesaro win.
They're too hot right now. You can't take the belts off of them. They're fantastic.
I don't think they're ready to break up another
team. They're the team
quick.
of the year thus far.
The Hardys?
No, I'm still going on about Sheamus and Cesaro.
Oh, okay.
They're fantastic.
All right, but we all agree that they're going to retain their belts because they just recently won those belts. So, all right,
Sheamus and
coming
Cesaro.
up next, Roman versus Strowman. Are we finished with him yet?
I don't know where either one of these two dudes is going to go after this. I mean, obviously Roman's kind of penciled himself in for the SummerSlam.
How do you not know where these two men are going to go after this?
Strowman's
going to the world title match because he already said that's what he's going to do. And no one said, wait a minute, you got to earn that, Roman. They just kind of went, okay.
Yeah. Does anybody else, like, Roman just comes out and makes his own, like, yeah.
Listen, this is my yard.
I'm the number one contender for SummerSlam.
I'm taking my shot at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even like, that's not even the next pay-per-view. Like, he called out his match before Great Balls of Fire was even booked. So he's like, I'm getting my SummerSlam
You're thinking about Roman.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
See,
That's
one
him
thing I
talking.
don't know why they didn't do with this match is why they didn't make it a number one contenders match.
That would have been a really good
So
idea.
if Strowman wins, which he will, I think maybe they'll write Roman off TV and then Strowman can take his spot at SummerSlam. Give Roman a month off. Roman comes back at SummerSlam.
They're not going to keep Roman off
the match.
They're not going to keep Roman Reigns off SummerSlam, but I don't think he's going to wrestle for
Why?
the. I don't
show
think
up to cost the match.
I don't think he's going to wrestle for the Universal title, but I don't think he's going to be off the.
Said that.
He's going to wrestle Cena.
Cena's wrestling Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's 100% happening at SummerSlam.
And tell me I'm wrong. You
Just
think
saying.
he's going to be wrestling?
Oh no,
Roman?
I've already told my
You
brother.
think you're going to have a face John Cena against a face Roman Reigns at SummerSlam?
Face Roman Reigns.
He's a face. He's not a heel. They boo him. He's not a heel. They don't book him as a heel. They kind of
listen. If you come out after WrestleMania and your first promo is "This is my yard now,"
he's telling the truth. He beat the Undertaker. It is his yard.
He's a new version of a heel. It's not the same old heel formula. It's still a heel though.
First of all, I'm
doesn't-
well aware of
he doesn't
that
cheat to
Captain
win.
America is coming to beat Jinder Mahal.
No, he's not.
for the title.
He's losing to Jinder. At
He's
I
going to
hope
lose
so.
to Jinder at SummerSlam.
Because I told my brother the other day, I'm like, why do I have a feeling that Jinder Mahal is just holding this belt so Cena can beat him for it?
No.
Nope.
He's holding it so he can beat Cena to
Cena-
solidify his legitimacy.
John
Okay,
Cena's gonna
apparently
make-
no one's been watching the WWE for the last 16 years.
This
That
is a
their love
different-
affair with John Cena.
Yeah, their love affair of John Cena.
They flipped the script with Jinder.
The love affair of John Cena doesn't matter when you look in the last couple
Look at the
months.
heat.
Look at how he's been booked the last couple of years for John Cena. John Cena has done nothing but put over other talent. Kevin Owens going over. AJ Styles went over.
Yeah.
John Cena is coming back for one reason and one reason.
He'll get the win back. He'll beat Jinder eventually, but this match at SummerSlam is the first one he's going to lose.
All eyes are going to be on
it. He'll
it.
get it back and break the record. He'll be the all-time winningest WWE champion of all time.
And then he'll run off.
So they'll get the mega heat on Jinder,
Yeah.
and then it'll be resolved eventually, and the fans will be happy. But the only person that has heat like Jinder in the WWE right now is Roman Reigns. Those are the only two people that really draw the heat from the fans, and they're like, "Boo, we hate this man." That's it.
We're gonna keep feeding them heels. I'm just agreeing with what you guys are saying that
Roman only fights bad guys.
He gets booed, but yet they keep putting him in.
Right. They book him like he's a good guy, but he talks like he's a bad guy. He's cocky
I mentioned this to my brother. I'm like, they want people to like Roman Reigns, but I'm like, they don't do him any favors by,
I think they're doing it on purpose
They're
now. At this
100%
point,
doing it on
at
purpose.
this point, they're
are.
like, well, let's just troll him.
Let's go
If
with
we
it.
make them hate him enough, they're gonna flip and like him because everybody hates him so much. That's how they're gonna do it.
Now, let me ask you guys this.
They've done this on accident before.
I don't think they will because it doesn't make a lot of sense, but let's say during the match, Roman gets real desperate and he can't get Braun Strowman, in the ambulance.
Okay.
Does Ambrose and Rollins come out to help him?
No.
Two
faces that have already wrestled earlier in the night coming out to help.
What's that got to do with anything?
They don't want the negative heat on them? I don't think so. No way. I like the idea of putting Shield back together, but this is not the way to do it.
To Shawn's point, I see what he's saying, and using.
You think Roman's going to beat him up so bad that he can't even pick him up? He's going to destroy.
Not beat him
Braun
up so
Strowman.
bad, but that he just keeps trying to put him away and can't because Braun Strowman's
I don't think that's
going to
help with
be a heel turn for all of them.
I don't think that's helpful. For one, it's the wrong opponent because the crowd loves.
Yeah,
Braun Strowman.
that would be a heel turn.
I like the idea because what you're trying to do there is you're trying to use two people who are over as baby faces in Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose to help kind of push Roman over as a baby face. But one, not the right opponent for it. Two, not the right situation because one, Braun Strowman is over as sliced bread. Two, you have a situation where them helping Roman to win the match is only going to get heat on them as a group.
Yeah.
I
like the
understand
idea,
that,
but
and that's why I'm throwing it out there as a question. Do you think it's possible?
The
But
answer is
at the
no.
same
I don't
time,
think this is the right
I don't
time.
think Strowman should lose this match tonight. But I
He's
have
not.
a feeling he's
I don't
going
think-
to.
No, I don't
Strowman
think he
wins.
is.
Strowman wins.
Strowman is going to be booked up as like that one impossible task for
be the
Roman
last
Reigns
the last thing.
that he does before he wins the belt.
Yeah.
The whole story of Roman Reigns that they're trying to convey to you right now is that he has an impossible task ahead of him, which is Braun Strowman. Once he gets that task out of the way, at some point, he will then be ready to
The
move on
next
to
biggest thing after Braun is Brock.
Yeah, so he will be
He's
able
the
to
next
move
thing.
on to that point.
He might even have a feud with Joe. So Joe's being built up super huge. He's going to lose to Lesnar, but he's still up there as one of the monster guys.
Telegraphing much?
So the Roman Reigns has to then take on Samoa Joe for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Or not SummerSlam, Survivor Series. And then we get into what they've promised, which is Roman versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I think Strowman might take Roman's spot.
Or Royal Rumble.
At SummerSlam.
Yeah. Here's the deal, man. He's not going to beat Strowman because Strowman's going to be that last test. They're building him in a way that he has to pass that last test before he's able to go after the Universal Championship. They're trying to build him in a position to where he has to overcome those odds.
They just keep every time because this feud is kind of like how I felt about
Get used to it. It's
Cena and Wyatt.
strap in, dude.
Back in a couple of years ago when they had their first match at WrestleMania 30, and
They thought that Wyatt was going to do something.
Wyatt should have went over in that feud.
Let me give you a piece of advice from somebody who's been in kind of the same position that you're at right now. I get you hate how they're booking Roman Reigns. I get it, but they're not going to stop. No, hold on. The sooner you realize that they're not going to stop what they're doing with Roman Reigns, and you can remove yourself from that and just enjoy two really big dudes beating the ever-loving Jesus out of each other. And they're in a fantastic angle. They both look great in this, and they put on fantastic matches with each other. The second you can get over the whole boo Roman Reigns, I hate what they're doing with him, they're shoving him down our throats, You just have to get past that because it's going to happen inevitably. Like they're going to continue to do that in spite of how you feel about it. As soon as you can get past that and enjoy this for what it truly is, you'll enjoy this program a lot more than it sounds like you already are.
I don't hate Roman Reigns. That's what people don't understand. Like, I'm one of the very few people that I used to be a really big fan of him, but lately I'm not. I kind of feel about Roman the way I feel about Cena anymore. I don't love him, but I don't hate him.
Right.
I just appreciate him for what he is.
Yeah, I feel similar.
It's just one of those things of, I just hate for him that the WWE doesn't help him.
I think he's having fun.
He's
now.
having a blast.
I think he really likes, especially after WrestleMania. I think he's really
and I like this kind. And I like this kind of
playing.
new attitude where he's,
he doesn't give up.
I apologize for my language, but he's kind of a cocky dick right now. But at the same time,
that's my nickname in high school.
But at the same time, it's like, okay,
All right,
we're gonna have him face heels.
Let's do our picks.
Let's do our picks. You said Strowman is winning.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go Strowman, but I still think...
Pick Roman.
Pick Roman.
I'm going to go Strowman.
No. Follow your heart.
He's going Strowman. What are you doing, Travis? You in the DMs open? What are you doing?
I'm writing down our picks.
Oh, you're smart.
But also, the fans
Are the winners?
are my first winners, but the second one is Braun Strowman.
Strowman.
All right, we have a main event to talk about, fellas.
Oh, man.
The build for this has been everything that I've ever wished that this feud would be, and probably a little bit more.
Oh, quite a bit more.
This has been a fantastic build. The Samoa Joe, I think...
Which one?
The Samoa Joe.
He's not in this match. He was in the other match.
Not Samoan Joseph. Samoa Joe. Oh. So... When I think when they first made Joe the number one contender, I think my initial knee-jerk reaction was, okay, he's just going to get literally fed to Lesnar, and it's going to be a squash match. It's going to just make Lesnar look like a unbeatable absolute monster.
I think of all of the people that could have been entered into this match from that Fatal 5-Way at Extreme Rules, Joe is the one that they'd be able to book as the biggest monster, the biggest contender, because Finn Balor, I mean, he's not really a monster. He's not really a threat to Brock Lesnar. He may be quick or whatever, and he's formerly Universal Champion.
I mean, in a way, I'm kind of glad that they didn't go with Finn Balor as to face, because I just think that would have hurt him more than it would have helped him.
I think Joe really has thrived.
Yeah, because when you knew Finn Balor wasn't going to win the title off Lesnar,
right?
You were only going to hurt Balor and make him, kind of not expose him, but just
the cool thing with
Joe's the only physical threat.
The cool thing with Lesnar, and I said this a while back about Lesnar when we were debating on whether or not he's a heel or face. I said he's a heel in the same sense that a hurricane is a heel. Like, it's not actually, a hurricane doesn't show favoritism towards whether or not you are a nice person or a bad person. It literally just comes in to knock down your house and mess up your entire life. That's what Brock Lesnar is. He transcends the whole concept of what a heel and a face are. So you have all these number one contenders waiting in the wings to, for lack of a better term, get fed to him, I guess, if you want to put it that way. And it's cool because you have these situations where Samoa Joe, flat out heel, comes into the promo or comes into the program against Lesnar and looks fantastic as a heel. But then you can flip the script in a month, literally on the drop of a dime, and put Finn Balor in a program with him, and Lesnar doesn't have to change his character. His character adapts to whatever program he's in. So if he's going up against a babyface, Finn Balor, oh, you're small, you'll never beat me, I'm too powerful, blah blah blah.
I want to eat you.
Yeah, if you're going up against a heel, it just works either way. He's literally like,
he's booked like a UFC fighter. Like, all right, who's next in line?
Yeah, he doesn't care. He doesn't care what
I'm the champ. I'm gonna beat you.
Yeah, and it works so beautifully. And I think Joe is the perfect first person for it. And the build for this has been just ever so scrumptious. And like, just fast forward to that promo on Monday night with Paul Heyman, and not this past Monday, but the first one of the program with Paul Heyman and Samoa Joe, where Samoa Joe did the whole
without the mic
and did the camera mic and stuff like that.
All right, I'm gonna
brilliant.
Put my arm around your neck.
I am excited for this match.
Sweet nothings into your ear.
I think it's going to be competitive. I don't think it's going to be a squash. I think they're going to make Samoa Joe look like $1 million.
Yes.
There is a my pick is literally 49-51. I am 49% sure that Samoa Joe is going to win.
I can see it happening. It would be a huge shock. And I said, this is the first Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view, and the rumor is that they want to do this every year. Mm-hmm. How better to solidify your very first one with something crazy?
This would be
Samoa Joe beating Brock Lesnar in a crazy long match where both men look like monsters, and Joe wins. That people will be talking about Great Balls of Fire for a while. Whereas if something like that doesn't happen, we're not going to talk about
I think you just talked me
more than a
into
week.
it. I think you just talked me into it.
That's nothing else on the card screams, oh my God, we need to go back and watch the first Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view.
I think that would be the move to do, and I think because they can have a rematch at SummerSlam and have Brock get the title back at SummerSlam, and it doesn't really interfere with your plans too much.
I mean, they had Brock lose to Goldberg in a minute.
Joe doesn't have to have a lengthy reign. He just has to have that shock moment of holy hell.
It's not that Lesnar's unbeatable because, like I said, Goldberg has beaten Brock
Why are you doing this to
in
me?
a minute. So Brock can lose. I think really pushing the limits in a 15, 20-minute match. You can't, probably closer to 15 because Lesnar is his style.
He can't go that long.
That's too long.
He can't go that long.
But I think, it could come down to where both men are literally drained, laying there, and maybe...
I hope everybody
Joe?
watching this can see me in mental anguish right now over the results of this match.
You picking Joe now? Go bold.
Ravioli, give me some Moe Joey.
Great. What about you? What do you think?
First of all, I just want to say that I agree that they've built this to the point where
I know I'm
it's
wrong.
It's gone way better than they probably expected it to.
Joe's looks strong, and not that Joe's ever looked weak, but you just kind of still looking at all five guys. You're just kind of yeah.
You said five guys. Now I want a burger.
You looked at all five competitors, and you're just kind of okay, who fits in, well with Lesnar. But I mean, I like Samoa Joe just not only from the standpoint of his wrestling, but he's now starting the whole him and Owens that these bigger guys can also be super fast. Samoa Joe is one of the
he's even
so
slowed down.
agile that
he's slowed down.
Yeah, he's a little bit
years.
slower than he was, but yeah.
It would be a great story, but I just can't see Brock Lesnar losing tonight. It's not his first title
picking
defense.
Brock?
I'm picking Brock. I would be so happy if Samoa Joe wins, just because this would just kind of be, the cherry on top of what already been a very great career.
I'm still mentally going over this. If I'm going to pick Joe, if only because I had to do something to differentiate my picks out from the rest of you guys. We're all lockstep across the board on all these picks.
We haven't picked. I picked Akira.
You
Tozawa.
picked Akira Tozawa, and I picked Samoa Joe. But aside from that, if you go Brock, those are the only two differences in our cards.
All right, here's what I'm saying. So the match, towards the end of the match, 15 minutes. Both men are drained.
Yeah.
Okay. Samoa Joe locks on the Coquina. What's it called?
Coquina clutch.
Coquina clutch. Okay, right.
Can I ask
Brock.
a question real quick? Not sorry to interrupt.
He has not hit the muscle buster in the main roster.
Is that banned now? Is that something blacklisted?
No, they wouldn't have let him do it in NXT if
he
it was.
injured what's his face, but
but
he did it after that.
No, he's done it since.
I don't think that would be a huge thing.
I think in the same way that they're doing with Neville, how he uses the Red Arrow as his mega finisher, that's his end all be all finisher. Obviously,
we might see it then.
Yeah, I think
this is his biggest match to date.
I think that would be a good way to end it. Joe hits the muscle buster.
Let me book it. All right, end of the match, 15 minutes ish, maybe 12 minutes. Both are worn out. Samoa Joe locks on his
Coquina
clutch. Brock looks like he's fading. Brock gets up, stands up while he's still got it locked in, and turns it into an F5.
Yep. I can see that.
Pins him. Samoa Joe kicks out. Brock is what do I have to do? Holy crap. And Brock...
You wrote this down?
No, I had to look up the name of the move. Brock locks on the Kimura lock and gets Joe to pass out.
So Joe still looks super strong.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, or Bret Hart, sorry.
Double turn?
Not a double turn, but Joe looks super strong. He didn't tap. And then Lesnar looks super strong because he used the submission hold to get over Joe, which Joe has been booked really strong with his submission the whole build.
That's a solid finish.
Boom. I don't think the F5 thing might not happen from the neck.
Right.
But I think that's how I would book it. I would have Lesnar win by submission.
but without actually having
him submit.
Joe tap.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
So I'm picking Lesnar. Sorry.
So,
I got you
no,
to
you're
pick.
fine.
I got you to pick Joe. But
Like I said, dude, I was like 49-51. Like, but that needle can move in any direction.
I would love to see Joe win.
It would be nice.
And if I was booking it, I would book Joe to win.
If you could have told me that in 2017, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles would have been the top champions on their respective brands, I would have told you.
AJ's not.
Well, I mean, but he came into 2017 as the
he was.
WWE champion.
You're right.
Yeah. So, all right. So that is it. So before we get out of here, there is one thing we want to announce.
Yes.
We've got a slate of shows coming up for the rest of July. We have got Poser Wrestling coming up on Thursday. A really cool
This Thursday, yep.
promotion / TV endeavor / like video endeavor coming out of Dayton, Ohio. They're super cool. I can't wait to get them on. That's going to be coming up this coming Thursday. The week after that, we are doing a preview or a retroactive review of Great American Bash 1989. This would be fantastic.
Which we watched on the 5th of July.
Yeah.
I was really hoping we would be able to watch it on the 4th of July since it was the Great American Bash. But we watched it the day after.
Yeah. Good time. Good show. Fantastic show.
Surprisingly decent show, yeah.
So we have that. We have Louis Perez coming up from Northwest Ohio Wrestling the week after that. We also have our Battleground preview special that week as well.
Yep.
After those shows, Audio Suplex Live is
it's our
going
big
to-
announcement.
I wish we had a drum roll.
Drum roll that we used for our last show.
Audio Suplex Live is going to be moving to Sundays at 1 p.m.
Sundays at 1.
So no more shows on Thursdays, guys.
You can watch it on Thursdays still.
Yeah. So and then much to Corey's chagrin,
My chagrin.
no, much to my chagrin, and to Corey's praise and benefit, are your pay-per-view preview specials like we're doing for you right now will now officially become canon.
Numbered.
They'll become numbered canon episodes.
Not that it really affects you at all.
Yeah, not that it affects you guys as listeners
Just
and as
affects
viewers.
Travis.
It just affects me deeply.
His OCD. He's like, these are
drives me up a
different.
wall. So yeah, so going forward, new episodes of Audio Suplex Live after the couple that we have mapped out here will be on Sundays.
Correct.
It'll still be the same show. It'll be me, Corey, and our cavalcade of friends coming through. The pre-show stopper will be through. Ajax will be through. We'll try to get Matt Goodfriend back on the show.
Yep. And we thought about this. This is easier for our schedules. We think it's easier for you guys as listeners.
Yeah.
It'll be available earlier in the day, so if you want to watch or listen to it the first day it's out, you have all day.
Yeah. And it also frees us up time to do more cool stuff.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be uploading new content in a different format, maybe short little videos, especially with us working with NOW. We may be uploading some more stuff via that as well.
Yeah.
So
the ASL train
exciting.
Moves forward.
That starts next month.
Yes.
The new time.
Yeah,
And we'll talk about that from here until then, so you'll know.
Yeah, so we'll get you guys out of here so you guys can get ready for Great Balls of Fire. If you think our picks were cool, get at us on social media, Facebook, Twitter.
Tear Travis apart for picking Samoa Joe.
Instagram, Audio Suplex Live. You can get at me on Twitter at XDrTX, Corey at heel
_
Corey, and we are going to get out of here. Joe, take us away. Goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire.
Hey guys, we would like to thank the band Wax for our intro and outro music. You can check them out at waxoh.bandcamp.com. You have been listening to the Nerd Complex Podcast Network.
You've been listening to the Nerd Complex Podcast Network.